It's the Duffin Up Podcast. All right, Duff Daddies and Duff Mamas, we have on a very, very special guest for you this week. My man is over here working his absolute tail off, making Pocasset Country Club one of the most beautiful country clubs in the New England area. He is very, very well known throughout all of the New England area for his fantastic growth of the game, especially on the Cape and Islands. And it's one of the things that we really appreciate. We have on Daniel Peterson, also known as the Greenskeeper, on this week. Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on this week.
Absolutely. First question, and this is a very, very deep question. What is the most diabolical pin that you have ever placed on any green ever?
Well, I put a pin that one day I thought was okay. I'm always more for a challenging pin. I love golfing. I love coming up on a green that I'm like, man, that's diabolical. Well, I learned if you're in a tournament for a club that you belong to, you don't so much like diabolical pins. And this person withdrew from the tournament and made these wild proclamations, and there has never been a pin there again.
I love that. You got to play it how it lies. You got to play.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it has happened a number of times. It's taken a good 3 or 4 years for me to be like, all right, it's all you guys. Like,
I am all
baby
for
stick batter, like easy peasy lemon squeezy, baby.
I am all for a good built-in excuse, but pin placement has never been my excuse. It's always my fault. Oh, like it was too early in the morning, or I was tight, I was sore, I mentally I'm not here. But with that, I've never blamed a greenskeeper. So that person must have,
I bet if you were honest with yourself in the moment, you have cursed my name up and down.
Oh, 100% factual statement. By the way, we'll never at Pocasset Country because I've never played your lovely course. However, I know for a fact that I have hit. Brian, you're probably the same way where you hit it right at the day, or it's actually really like 2 or 3 days old cup, but like you hit it at the day old cup and you hit it right there and you're just like, no.
Yeah. I would have so many hole outs and hole in ones if it was in the opposite location or the old location, but also if it was the current location, I'd be aiming there and I wouldn't be coming close to it. So maybe
nowhere near it.
Yeah. So if that says anything, I should maybe not aim for the pin because it's not.
Now saying that, I did see somebody one day. I was watering the green. I was right next to the green, hose in my hand. This dude sank it like all cup, no green, no turf, no pin, no nothing. I watched this ball just boop, right in the hole, and I threw my hands up and I'm pointing at these guys, and they're in their mid 70s. Like they cannot see me from 120 yards away, like, and they're just looking at me like I'm this alien down here. And they come down and they're still not excited. And I'm like, buddy, you got a hole in one. He's like, oh, what are you talking about? I was like, go to the hole. And he goes and he looks down. And then he looks over at me, and I'm like, what is what I've been trying to tell you? It went in the hole with like swish, woof, swish.
Wow. Is that the only time you've seen a hole in one, or how many hole in ones?
I've seen a number of them. I've played with people with them. I'm not gonna ruin the end of the podcast and let you know whether I've got one or not, but I've seen many of them. Just off and on from the tee, from the green. Like it's one of the most exciting things.
I bet. I mean, that's you're there day in, day out, and you're working on the green, so no one's gonna see more than you. That's that's amazing. That's
even just good shots. I mean, when you hit a pure shot, like both of you have hit a pure shot before. What
Have
if
we?
somebody was just
Dude.
standing there watching?
Yeah. I mean, I love like just watching approach shots. I like when if you're in like a tournament or you have a bunch of groups with all your buddies. I love being the first one, so you see people approaching and coming in, and not having people watch you do it as well, I guess. But no, that's so cool. I want to backtrack it a little bit. So greenskeeper at Pocasset. Is it Pocasset or how do you pronounce it exactly? Pocasset Golf Club. And so you being working on the course there, how did you get into what you're doing? How long have you been doing it? Have you been at other clubs? All these things. Give us a backstory. Who is Dan Peterson?
Well, I started, I was working at Stop and Shop in high school, and I gotta tell you, I hated it.
I would have guessed Market Basket giving
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Well, we didn't have a Market Basket. It was Stop and Shop was the closest.
They hadn't expanded yet, Brian.
I'm
Leave
just
him alone.
the most.
That's just a couple
I'm
years
not from
ago.
Massachusetts, so I always poke fun. It's
You're
always
from down the road. You're from
I
Rhode
live in
Island.
Brookline now, but I'm in Rhode Island. We don't have Market Basket.
Yeah.
There's
No
one
Market
in
Basket.
Attleboro.
There's no Market Basket.
Just
We had
stop. I had Stop and Shop.
It was a German company.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Shaw's,
so
baby. Team Shaw.
I grew up on Star Market, all right? So
Here we go. Star Market.
You know,
Or the
Star
joke.
Market. I was a Star Market kid.
love,
now
The
it's a
joke is
Market Basket
Stiglione.
kid.
The Shaws are Star Market, WEI, Red Sox Radio Network.
Radio Network. Yeah, buy concrete from my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
No, so I worked at Stop and Shop, hated it. Awful. So I reached out, I asked my mom to reach out to some of the people she knew. And one of them said, go talk to Steve Carr. He was the longstanding superintendent at Pocasset. I talked to him. He brought me in on one weekend, and just year after year after year, I worked more, gained more experience. There was never a full-time job open, so I had to leave. And I went and I ran a market, I was a deli manager. It was a deli, butcher shop, slice meats, prepared foods. I mean, you name it, food guy, through and through. Hated it. I'm an outdoor cat. I prefer when my customers see me from 300 yards away and want me to get the hell out of the way. Like, I don't want people locking eyes with me and being like, hey, you, come here, I want to talk to you. Like, no, I want them to be like, hey, you, get out of the way. But perfect, works for me. He called me up one day and said, you want to get back in the business? I said, absolutely. He sent me to UMass Amherst. They have a wonderful program. If anybody's listening and they want in, go to UMass Winter School. It is a certificate program. It's 6 weeks. It gives you all of the underlying information that you're going to need to know to be successful in this business. Everybody that I know has been there. It's a quick way for you to be like, oh, did you do winter school? Oh, I did. It's great. I did that, passed the side license, came back as the second assistant. And from there, I've, worked my way up to doing more than what a second assistant might be, hired for. What with the pictures and dealing with membership and going to meetings and, up and putting on tournaments with the Cape Cod golf guys, which everyone will meet a couple weeks from now. I've just always loved golf. I mean, I started, my mom put me into lessons with my older cousin when I was 4. And by put me into lessons, I mean, she paid extra for the guy to just babysit me. I just hit golf balls. I've been hitting golf balls my whole life. I love it. I want to see people play. I want to see people have fun. And that's where I'm at now. I mean, just trying to get golf out to the masses.
I love that. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, what a journey to get to where you are, but that's awesome. That's a really cool story. I mean, it's no accident how we all get into and get the golf bug and fall in love with the game. It doesn't happen overnight, but it certainly happens quick. That's definitely for
Yeah.
sure. And lucky enough, you've made a career out of it, and going into
Very lucky.
into the golf industry. I'm always keeping an eye out for positions at Titleist and such, to maybe I can switch my 9 to 5 to maybe oriented towards the golf industry, but because I'm definitely not making it playing, that's for sure. So
No, sir.
Most,
No, sir.
most people aren't. Don't quote me on that, but most people aren't.
I would say a good 99.99% of golfers out there are going to make $0.00 from their golfing careers. Most of them will probably lose money just betting with each other. So, oh man,
But
that is
I love the fact that, my first set of clubs came from my grandfather when he passed away, like graphite shafts. I mean, I have videos of, me hitting nuclear missiles off the tee. Like, if you saw that and then I told you I used to hit graphite shafts, you'd be like, and how many did you snap? I'm like, I don't know, but I didn't, because I had no clubs behind that. So I had to learn how to hit those. Like, but you
No.
can, and it's open to everybody.
Yeah, I haven't played, minus woods obviously, but I don't think I've played graphite shafts and probably since I was 10. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Oh yeah, no, my hands would be here, but I'd be hitting the ball from here, like with a 5-iron. Like, all right, sure, whatever works, man.
now, how did that go when you switched over to steel shafts? How was that? How was that experience?
Well, so my clubs now are blades, because somebody, didn't like their clubs. They gifted them to me, and like, now I've had to back my way into playing like really difficult clubs, and like, oh, it's a whole other world. Yeah, for sure. I was never good at hitting either of them, but I can game them.
Yeah. I remember when I was going to get fitted, and Braga, I don't know when you went to, like, I thought I could like maybe hit blades, and then they just like looked at me and they laughed and they were like, intermediate clubs. I was like, okay, I'll take the Callaway Apexes, and sure enough, they have been an absolute godsend because they are wonderful. But
absolutely forgiving. The most
Oh,
forgiving. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you go in with the blade mindset and you come out with the highest MOI, most forgiving golf club. And that's, I mean, it's whatever works. That's why you get fitted. It's you go and they build the clubs bit catered to your golf game. And obviously our golf game is not exactly top tier or blade level where we're hitting the ball in the same spot on the face every time consistently. If that, I mean, I would love to see a ball pattern on my club, just to see where I hit. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It is swaggy to hit blades, but I don't want to look swaggy and play shitty.
No, and I get that. I mean, the clubs I have now are from, a pro, not a PGA pro, but like a golf pro. And they were the prototype before they came out with, like, it was the X type or the R type or something. There were 2 years that they ran these prototypes and sent them out to people. And like, nobody has, like, I've never seen anyone with the same clubs. And like, I don't know, like, I just fit my game to them as much as I suck with them. Like, my next thing I'm going to do is go get fitted. It has to be.
I am such a big advocate. I've probably said it on this podcast a zillion times. I mean, if you have the means and the money to be able to go and get yourself fitted, even if it's just for one club or just irons or just wedges, I 100% am encourage you to do it, because it's the difference between wearing like a tailored suit or just one off the rack, or wearing a shoe that's the wrong size. I mean, it really does add a whole new element to your golf game. It's really, I am a huge advocate for it, and thankfully I've been fortunate enough to get my driver fitted and my irons, and it really has made a difference. It could also be 50% mental, knowing that the clubs were made for me, but it really is. Like, I was hitting irons off the rack, and they were probably too long for me, or too short, or whatever it is. And then also the flex on the shaft, and honestly, they actually did give me an oversized like grip for all my irons and my driver, just like a one step above. So because I was wearing through my golf glove, gripping the club, the smaller grip. It's just like little things like that, that I think it's not a scam to go get fitted. It's definitely,
No, it isn't. It matters, especially with the drivers.
Yeah. I just, that was my most recent fitting, was my driver. I got the G425 Max, and that, I don't know if it is still, but last year or a year and a half ago when I got it, it was the most forgiving iron on the market. And I'm like, that's perfect. I need forgiveness. I need to go to confession for all the forgiveness and all the shanked sins that I've committed. So
well, Ping just came out their new driver too. I forget the name of it, but it looks very nice, and it is at a very, very high price point. Oh, it is. I think it's $700.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, good. Trust me, my side of golf does not pay well enough for Ping drivers.
I mean, honestly, it was the shaft that was more money than anything that they put me on with, and I couldn't tell one shaft from the other than the flex. I don't know the technology that goes in the shaft, but it was a big part was the shaft price point, on top of getting it off the rack at a already high price. But I digress. Enough about me. Back to you, Dan. Yeah. So like, walk us through a day in the life of Dan. I mean, I know every day is probably different, but like, what's it like? What's the strategy to you approaching the golf course and doing what you do day in and day out, or like on a weekly schedule kind of thing? Like, I know you rotate different things. Like, walk us through that. Put us into the mind of Dan. I really want to know.
All right. So there are things like we change cups Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you have new cups. The only days that you're playing on day old cups are Tuesday, Thursday. We try to hand mow greens Monday, Tuesday, basically all week. We try and hand mow greens with walk behinds. And then on the weekends, due to staffing, we use triplexes, which don't give as close a cut, as nice a cut. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we mow fairways, collars, and approaches, step cut. 5 days a week, we're out mowing rough. We try and get to bunkers as much as we can. Every Friday, we do a full bunker rake for the weekend. I would just like to remind everybody out there, I know it gets lost in the sauce sometimes, but bunkers are a hazard, okay? So if they're not perfect, they're a hazard. You know, have you ever hit in the water and been like, man, that was hard water? Like, no, you haven't. But you hit into a bunker and you're like, man, that was like concrete. Yeah, well, don't hit into it. But, you know, I that's me being funny, but like,
I like that. That's gonna get a lot of that's gonna get cut up for sure.
Yeah. Employee wise, we try and do it, but the bunkers are kind of at the bottom of the list because you can always do it after. It's tough. Once tee times start, the amount of work we can do on a hole is cut by 80%. I mean, the numbers are out there. I don't have them in front of me, but we have like 2.5 hours. It's very much like a restaurant. If the restaurant opens at 11 and everybody comes in at 9, you have 2 hours to do everything you can. And once that door opens, you could get 2 golfers or 2 people trying to eat, or you could get 2 groups of 18 people who want full service appetizers, soups, salads, food, desserts, the whole 9 yards. Like, we have to be ready for that. I call it setting the table. Every single day, we go out there and we try and set the table as best as we can for whoever's golfing. Then we come behind them and we do, the rough mowing, the fly mowing, which is the grass around the bunkers. You've probably seen videos of it, the hover mower that hits the banks. You name it. I mean, edge and sprinkler heads, so you can see the yardage markers, all that stuff. We try and do that after. And then beyond that, every year, we need to aerate greens, we need to aerate fairways, we need to aerate tees, collars, approaches. I just recently finished this really cool machine. It's called the Ventric. It has a really great attachment called the Aerator, which aerates, shakes the ground, and seeds at the same time. So you go around all the roughs and you aerate it, seed it, and hopefully next year it all comes in. And when you guys, one in every 18 holes hit one off of the fairway, you're going to be in some nice rough.
I will be in that rough 18 out of 18 holes. Honestly, it'll be great. Dan, that's an unbelievable. That sounds like a dream. I do want to ask, obviously aeration is one of, if not the most important things that you can do to a golf course to keep it sustainable.
The most important.
Yes. I said one of, if not the most. So we'll take the most.
Yeah, but I want to remove that one, if not. I want the most important thing.
And the most frustrating for all of us.
Right. And I will agree to that because I am on the other side of this too. I'm a golfer. I understand. My biggest problem with this, and it happens, is if you wait until October to aerate, all of a sudden you could hit a cold stretch and the grass isn't growing. And it's not going to grow around those holes. It's not going to fill in. Mm-hmm. And then you have openings all winter for cold and snow and ice to get down and hurt you into spring. And then you have to figure that out in the spring. I mean, September was so perfect for us. They're totally healed up now. They're as perfectly playable as you can imagine. And then come spring, they're going to be even better. You're walking that thin line of pushing aeration back to a point where you're not going to recover from it.
I mean, especially in the Northeast, I feel like it's obviously a different ball game down south because you have so many more months of warmth and all that, and the Bermuda grass, Brendan. You can
and the beautiful Bermuda grass. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it also depends, and I will say, a course that has more larger budget, more help, more equipment can recover from it in October better than a public course, that doesn't have the time, the money, or the equipment. Public courses should be aerating in as early as September as they can, because they will heal on their own without much help. A course like ours, I'd say October 1st. I mean, we top dress them. They're not that, I actually kind of like them. I mean, they roll true. I mean, they get it done early. Get it done, get it out of the way. You've
And it's
had from April.
Totally agree. It's such a tight window. Exactly what Brian said too. Like and I totally understand where you're coming from. Like when you go down to, down south, like they can aerate in November. Like they can aerate. I mean, I feel like half the time they should aerate like basically during the summer because no one plays down there during the summer because it's 100 bazillion degrees in Florida. But they can aerate at a lot of different times. Like we have such a tight window up here that like you just kind of have to like roll with it, and you definitely have to make sure that the course is not just there for this year but for years to come. With that being said, do you agree aeration should be 50% off, or aeration should have a 50% discount when you're playing it?
I'm not gonna get tied down to an exact percentage, but if you're a golf course that isn't telling people that those greens are aerated and let people decide, then you're doing people dirty.
That is,
I absolutely, and that's not day of saying, hey, by the way, we aerated. Like that should be on your website when you're booking or when you're calling in, booking that tee time. I mean, obviously it's a little different, you being at a private course, but yeah, it's 100%.
Well, there's a public course right up the street, and they're probably not going to be able to aerate this year because their whole thing was, we'll aerate, as we go in between play, and they've been as busy as they've ever been forever, and they're not going to be able to do it. So next year, plan on a day or 2 days that you aerate and go from there. Everybody knows you aerated, and I don't see a problem with that. I mean, there's plenty that I see it all the time. There's so much you can work on in your game before the green that you should be able to hit up to the green, and if it so sickens you, just pick your ball up and move to the next hole because you're getting a deal. There is some money off. Like it's not, the $100 tee time you were getting. Yeah, I think there's room for everybody at the table.
I couldn't agree more. Look at that. Coming together in the golfing world to discuss how much aeration is needed, but still, goddamn it, give me a discount.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm there. Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Now, how big of a crew do you got working?
So we're 7 people year round. That includes superintendent, assistant, myself, mechanic, and 3 year round general maintenance guys. Some of the top clubs around have 9 or 10 year round. We get 7 or 8 seasonal guys. The top clubs will get up to 15. Now, also the difference between that, our club has an average age of 67 for their maintenance worker. That's with me on the maintenance. It's old. But at Hyannisport, when superintendents retire and they retire to the Cape, they go and work seasonally at Hyannisport. And Oyster Harbor's they work at these high-end clubs that, you're not just getting someone who wants to mow some rough and then play free golf. You're getting someone who knows why you're mowing that rough and when to skip it and when to bring something to your attention, who also just wants to play golf. There's a big difference there.
Right. And that's what I was gonna ask. I mean, it seems to be like the 7 that you have that aren't general maintenance, are they have some type of degree or certificate or some kind of education around turfology? Is that the term, or is it turf
turf management?
Turf.
And no, the general maintenance guys, which are at every course, generally don't have that certificate, degree, whatever. It's somebody who is reliable, who is trustworthy, who works well, who has kind of a broad history of work, who can, rewire a light for you. We have a guy that does stonework that chef's kiss. He does an amazing job. And you wouldn't think that would be something you hired for, but think of an end of a cart path. I mean, this guy is out there cutting cobblestone to make beautiful ends of cart paths, with designs and stuff. That can be very much worthwhile.
And I'm assuming
really,
there's a hierarchy. I know probably the best of the best are mowing the greens. You don't have someone just started out mowing the greens and is what's what's the step progression in regards to duties? What's the highest, the most impressive, if we see someone out there mowing the green, then you're okay, that's the best thing.
So that if someone's mowing greens, they've proven themselves one way or another. That's kind of a superintendent decision. Some are more comfortable with teaching someone who's new, who has proven themselves to be trustworthy. Or it could be, the superintendent won't allow anyone who hasn't worked here for 5 years. I think, in my personal opinion, the more equipment you're sent out to run, the higher up you are. If they're okay with you taking a piece of equipment that you've rented from their friend's golf course and running it for a week and a half, they trust you. I mean, that's not something that you can just put to the side. It's not just green. I mean, greens are obviously where the money's made. But it is, it's not impossible to teach someone who's new how to mow greens.
It's just the room for error, I feel is very slim. And the greens.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. You get one chance, and if you do good, you get a second chance, and if you do good, you get a third. I'm roughly on my 10,000th chance, but let me tell you, if I fall off, I lose that real quick. I mean, you don't get to F up the greens at all, and keep doing that.
I was gonna say my buddy, he did a summer gig down at Shelter Harbor in Rhode Island, and he was I'm not able to touch tee boxes and greens. He's I'm just raking bunkers for the most part.
Raking bunkers.
Yeah, there we go.
The amount of people who will show up for a few months and never touch anything other than a bunker rake. I'm sorry, man. We just really needed someone to rake bunkers.
Yeah, I mean, I rake bunkers 9 times around all the time because I hit it exactly. I think Donald Ross and I share the same mind of where the bunker should go, because that's where I everywhere I hit it, it's in a bunker, and it's always a Donald Ross. I know Picasso, it's a Donald Ross as well. Freaking Donnie, I curse his name more than anybody on this planet. But I love him.
Well, but you don't like his gentle handshake on the first hole?
Yeah, don't get my hopes up. That it just bones me from 2 through 18.
I love working at a Donald Ross, because whenever I play with people, I'm all right, false front.
Yep.
So they don't club up and they hit right into the collar. I'm hey man, I told you.
Yeah. Undulating greens, false fronts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bunkers surrounding the greens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's made us, it's definitely one of the most world-renowned architects, but he's definitely, especially around his stint up here in the Northeast, we are blessed with so many of his designs, and that's kind of what we're used to, is just that alone. I mean,
yeah,
it's all about play your play it how it lies, play your own course, play what you know. I mean, it's no secret why some people Tiger plays well at links courses, and it's just what you grow up playing
Yeah.
or what you've grown up accustomed liking, I guess, in that sense. Or
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been in more Donald Ross's bunkers than I care to imagine. Like, I hit into a bunker now, and I hit smooth. I'm good out of the bunker, and people are always surprised. I'm like, no, I grew up in them. Like, don't worry about it. Like, don't expect this to like bleed into any other part of my game. Like, I
Right.
hit smooth bunker shots, terrible everything else.
That's like me. I'm a wizard punching out of the woods just because I'm there all the time. I'm like, I can hit
Yeah.
a hooded 5-iron punch out of the trees before
Yeah.
before I can hit and also honestly I'm better from the rough too. If have a nice beautiful drive on the fairway, I'll fuck it up honestly,
Yeah.
because I'm like, this is too nice a grass. I'm used to being like in the long ass grass or rooty rocky soil. So that's too funny.
Yeah. I was on Chappie the other day. I hit a drive that there's one long par 4. I hit it into the woods. So I hit a terrible shot. And then I take the 5-iron. I hit it under a tree, like down, up, and around, and roll it up onto the green. They're like, where did that come from? I was like, practice, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I've practiced that shot more than I have the tee shot. So
I have said it a few times, not on this podcast, but just in general in life, that I think driving ranges, because some have grass mats, or normal mats. I think they should have at least all the way to the right or all the way to the left a wooded area. Like
I'm trying at Pocasset.
Yeah,
are you put in the practice area? I've been clearing away this area in the woods, and I've been trying to sell people on like a woods rescue practice area where you can like practice.
That's a pretty amazing idea.
Yeah, they're not taking me up on it because everybody's so good, but like, maybe one day.
Yeah, then we got people getting hit by ricochets left and right. Yeah, but it's entirely just knocking it off. But I am a big advocate for that. I haven't really voiced this, but I'm glad I did, because you share the same vision.
I am right there with you, man.
Yeah, right. It's a practical practice area. It's where we're gonna be. So
yeah,
that's amazing. But so what are your hours like? You get there, what time do you get to the course? What time do you leave?
So there's obviously plus or minus, but we're 6 to 2 Monday through Friday, and then we're 3 hours on a weekend. Half the crew's on Saturday, half the crew's on Sunday. It's weighted a little differently. Whether we want to hand mow on Saturday, hand mow on Sunday, but I change cups Saturday. The assistant changes them on Sunday. It's all been kind of set in stone for a long time. Other courses are different. They have more money, more equipment. They will mow fairways on the weekend. And that's not just a matter of having a fairway mower. That's someone with a blower behind them to clean them off. You're not talking one employee and one piece of equipment. You're talking 2 and the gas to run all of it. So it varies, definitely. I mean, then you talk to other places and they're like, yeah, we mow our fairway at rough height, and we mow once a week. So that's what you get.
I was about to say the mowing fairways on the weekend sounds very much like an old sandwich thing to do right there.
Yeah, that's very much an old sandwich thing.
Which brings me into an unbelievable segue from Brendan again, because we want to definitely, obviously, Pocasset Country Club and Pocasset Golf Club. I know it's not Pocasset Country Club, but
Pocasset Country Club. There is no tennis court. Did you see a pool on the satellite image? It's a golf club.
No equestrian center. Yeah.
Well, that's like in South Hamilton. It's like it's Myopia Hunt Club. It's like, why? It's like, well, before there was a golf course here, we just used to hunt a bunch of crap over here. So
Murder,
we
murder
called it a
animals.
hunt club. Yeah, we used to murder
yeah.
animals.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I get that.
But definitely wanted to discuss. Obviously, I mean, there are so many great golf courses on the Cape. There are so many very, very private golf courses on the Cape, which is, I guess, fortunate and unfortunate because, but what would you say? And I know if you don't have a personal favorite, what would you say you believe if you cannot pick Old Sandwich, what would be the best golf course on the Cape? And I think I know the answer to it, but I want to hear your answer.
All right. So first off, Old Sandwich is in Plymouth.
I don't
So
care.
that's not a Cape Cod golf course.
Nah,
I will get lambasted for that.
I'm
It's not
counting
on
it.
the Cape.
I'm counting it.
I love that.
I honestly, I mean, my heart is with Pocasset. It always has been. I think it's a perfect course for beginners, middles, and experts. I mean, I've seen this course eat like PGA guy, not Rory McIlroy PGA, but like
Brad Faxon.
professionals that like
Brad
top,
Faxon.
yeah, like eat them alive. Okay, it's not as easy as you think it is, but it's amenable to your everyday golf. I think it's a perfect golf course. I love it. It's not too snobby. It's snobby enough. If you were twisting my arm and I couldn't choose Pocasset, man, I haven't played enough of them. I'm a poor kid at heart. I was a Holly Ridge, Brookside, Little Harbor kind of guy, like Bay Point. If you haven't played the Bay Club yet, that one's awesome. Obviously, everybody talks about Eastward Ho. That's my nemesis. I will never play there, and I hate everybody that works there.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, no, big
Oh,
time rivalry. Big time.
That's actually a bucket list course for me. So I gotta hear this. Okay.
That's a bucket list course for me.
Really? Wow. Okay, so now we gotta get
all
into
right.
now we gotta get into it.
So the Cape Cod golf guys, they came onto the scene and they had a picture contest. So I said, no brainer. I'm gonna put in a picture of Pocasset. So they do the bracket, and I swear to God, it was that goddamn tree on Eastward Ho's green 15 times against me. And like it just felt like Eastward Ho, all of Cape was Eastward Ho, and it was me. And like I beat all of them and I won it. And from that day, like I haven't said a nice word about them. Like it's all in good fun. Like I've talked to people who work there, like, oh, so you're my nemesis. And they're like, I guess I am. And like, I don't know, it's like it's so two different worlds. It's so far away from, like, I'm closer to Boston living in Bourne than I am to Eastward Ho.
People forget that the Cape is actually quite a large place, and with Chatham being very, very just like the corner of the Cape, it's literally the polar opposite of Falmouth. Like I had to drive from Falmouth to Chatham one day, and it literally took me over an hour.
Right. People are like, oh, do you know people in P-Town? And I'm like,
no,
I don't know. Like, it's an hour and 45 minutes away from me. Like, do you know people in like the southeast corner of New York? Like, I don't know. Like, do you know anyone in Utica? Like, I don't know. Like, I'll just keep like naming random towns around. Like, it's not that close to me. Like, most of my golf was played Barnstable to Bourne and over the bridge, Plymouth, Wareham, Mattapoisett, but those areas.
Getting to the Katansa Club on your spare time down there, playing.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't get out to Farm Neck all that much, even though it is, just an hour down to Woods Hole, and then an hour over to the Vineyard, an hour to Farm Neck. Like, and I get it all the time from people not around here. Oh, you must play, Oyster Harbors a lot. And it's like, well, but I work at Pocasset. I get to play at Pocasset.
Yeah.
Oyster Harbors, like, it takes 40 minutes to get to Osterville, and then it takes 15 minutes to get to Oyster Harbors. Like, it's not an easy place to get to.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, if having played Hyannisport this year, my next course that I really want to play is Oyster Harbors.
I'm looking at a map of all the golf courses on the Cape, and boy, did I not know there was this many. I've played a bunch of courses on the Cape, but I've not even scratched the surface. That's insane. You could do a whole. You could just do a whole. I mean, a lot of people do it golf trips. Like, you don't need to go down to Hilton Head to do like a
hey! How dare you, sir? Anyways,
no, the only reason I say Hilton Head is the most courses in the area, so that's the only reason why. Like Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, it's just the most golf you got there.
That's a very true statement. But
I used to
but
spend a lot of time down there. I get it. They're all very nice, except for that damn Bermuda grass. That can go right to hell.
So tell me, so you have a nemesis in Eastward Ho, and you have a nemesis from Bermuda grass. I gotta hear, why do you hate Bermuda grass so much? Or not why do you hate it, but why is it your nemesis?
So I don't hate Bermuda grass. I wish we could. We're about 15 years of global warming away from being able to grow it. I shit you not, Ryan Bjorn up at Gillette Stadium, he's the superintendent up there. Like, when you see game day Sunday, when you see those lines, it's Ryan. Like, he is the one in charge of all that. The practice facilities, everything. He's actually starting to try and overwinter Bermuda grass to see if it's viable in this area to grow. It could be. I mean, with proper prior planning preventing poor performance, it could work. We're not there yet for the majority. I mean, they obviously have, different budget, different expectations, different everything. But we're not impossibly far off of that. But if I could, as soon as our grass is dying, verticut and then plant a whole new golf course, please. Seriously, like, we wouldn't want to do that and have a whole winter season with like a whole new, like, so they do Bermuda grass or Augusta or Zoysia, and then they verticut and they do ryegrass for their winter / summer. Like, all right, cool. Our grass all dies. We've got velvet bent grass on half of our greens from the 1980s that, like, the second it gets to like 51 degrees, it's purple and dead. Like, and grass is never dead. It's dormant. My boss will kill me for saying dead, but it's dead as far as golfers are concerned. So it's not a nemesis. It's probably more jealousy.
I'm gonna start saying that it's dormant. It's not dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we get miles out of that joke.
It's my goal to break par. It's not dead. It's just dormant, guys. It's just dormant.
My grandmother's dormant. She's not dead.
Oh Jesus! Oh God!
Yeah.
We went so dark so quick.
My mom went dormant 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
she'll back.
She'll be back. Just a little TLC. She'll be back.
So dark. So quick.
Warm weather.
Yeah, that's why everyone goes to Florida.
Oh God. But, and I know you guys, I know at least for like, for Cape and Island, like, you guys obviously include the islands when it's Cape Cod golf and everything, when you do Cape, But I know, again, like there's so many great courses there, but it's just like, do you think that that's I mean, I guess it's not an issue, but do you think that that might be one of the reasons why, say, Cape Cod isn't viewed as like a big golf destination, is because a lot of the courses that are absolutely stunning and absolutely beautiful are, number one, private, and number two, can really only be played 5-6 months out of the year.
That's a great question. I think part of it is definitely the, non-year round ability of our golf courses. Secondarily, I think we haven't had strong enough voices like getting it out to people that instead of going to Hilton Head in August, like go to the Cape. You can play all these golf courses. Like you can go to Hilton Head in January. Like, and a lot of people do, obviously, but like
That's when I go.
come to the Cape. I mean, but right, but I always hear people like, oh, Long Island, like, oh, go to Long Island. Like, screw that. We are in the same growing zone. Like their grass dies faster than ours does. Like from New Jersey to us, like there are so many good golf courses that, I mean, even our private course or even our public courses, like, it's not Pebble Beach, but like you're gonna get a good round and you're gonna enjoy yourself. Like as long as you're bringing people that you're having fun golfing with, this needs to be the destination as much as Long Island, South Carolina, like all of these places that people visit to go golf. Cape Cod needs to be on par with that. And that is my ultimate goal. I mean, again, like Eastward Ho is my nemesis because nothing plays more than a heel and a face. Like, if there's no tit for tat, like nobody's interested. Like that's what sells the tickets. Like come here, prove me wrong, and tell me why Eastward Ho is an actual nice course and not 18 garbage bags. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. You tell me. You visit, spend money here, and tell me why.
I love that. Dan 2024, mayor of Cape Cod. I love
No,
this.
no. Don't need to go too far into my background. Yeah.
Oh, there's politics in the past?
No, nor in the future. I'm trying to start the movement and let someone much prettier take over.
Behind the scenes guy. Everyone needs a clubhouse guy. You're the idea guy. Yeah.
Gotta need a glue guy.
I chose maintenance over pro shop for a reason.
I agree.
I love that. I love that. That is so funny. Yeah, no, I could definitely see. I do think, and like maybe it's just, I don't know. Like obviously you can't really book, like you can't book tee times at Eastward Ho, so like that doesn't really happen. But like I do wonder if, just because you hear about, and Pocasset is a beautiful course. You have Woods Hole right in Woods Hole, right,
Right.
probably one of the nicest courses, in East Cape, on the east side of Cape, or on the west side of Cape Cod. Probably one of
I
top three.
went down for a couple days and took a bunch of videos and pictures for them as they were getting ready for their member guest. Like it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and you have all these beautiful courses, but it's kind of like it is okay. We can't, because of the growing season, because we only have 6 months out of the year, in order to be profitable, in order to, have these amenities and have all this, we have to be a private club, which I understand. I just wish that they would. And even if they wanted to charge like $350 or $400 a round, like during the summertime, like make it a month where like, they open it up to the public, and like that way, you can play. But I also know that would never happen.
Right. But I think, and what I want to do is kind of lead this next group up in like reaching out to the public and like, I have playing privilege as a Pocasset. I mean, you guys want to come down, play Pocasset. I'll talk, to other people. Like, and I'm not promising to anyone anything, but like with, enough time ahead, there are people that you can reach out to that can get you out on a really nice golf course, like the private of the private. And then I'm going to be honest with you, some of the most fun I've ever had in my life is playing Falmouth Country Club.
Hell yeah.
Cape Cod Country Club, Brookside. I mean, that's golf for the sake of
River.
you and 4 friends having a great ass time.
Bass River, I feel like, is the same way on Mid Cape. Like that course is it's public. It's very fun. Like I always had a good time whenever I played there. It's a little difficult, but I mean, I grew up playing Blue Rock, which was a 9-hole. Grew up playing that with my grandpa, which was a little 9-hole, and then you graduate and you go to Bass River afterwards, and but you always had a good time and it was fun, and it's just I hope that more people can experience that, but I also know that like there are going to be courses that are just going to be private because that is what they are. I would say the country.
Woods Hole is private as private can be. No outside groups, no nothing. No tournaments you can join to play there. No nothing. Like you gotta, like I don't know enough people. Like you have to know people there to play there, and there are those golf courses for sure. Same as there are everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you can't change them all. But I do feel like the Cape has such like a very good mix of courses too, whether it's, not really, I wouldn't call it link style because it's not really link style besides maybe like Eastward Ho is considered links, but I don't even know about that. You have some great, inland, you get the courses on the inland, you have courses on the river, the oceans, you got all of these great courses and, only a handful of people get to play them. And that's where I just like, maybe open it up a little bit more, but I feel like you've done a great job with that.
I think it's coming.
Yeah. And Dan, I feel like, you've done a great job with that, opening up the world of Cape Golf. I feel like, what you guys did down for Royal Chappie was absolutely unbelievable. Being able to get that tournament up for the birdie weekend.
That was so much fun. And shout out to the Cape Cod Golf guys. I mean, obviously, the Pocasset was my connection. Chappie was theirs. Like that was perfect. We got 40 people over 2 ferries on time to tee off at 9 o'clock and play golf all day long and have a blast.
That's impressive.
And even the guys working there, like it's Brad and it's Chris. I mean, the 2 of them absolutely like put the red carpet out for us, and they couldn't have been happier to have 40. But they probably knew 5 people who have played there before, and the other 35 were all brand new faces. And like as a golf club that is on an island, off of an island, to see 35 new people in a group of 40, like that makes your day. Absolutely. At the end of the year.
And it is, I feel like it was the perfect time of year for Royal Chappie too, because it's a beautiful course. It's right up there. And, I did love seeing like the pro shop being literally just a barn where they, a little barn where, or I guess a shed, and they just open up the door and they're like polo shirts. And so you get to see all these great things, but I felt as though that's definitely, going forward, that would definitely be like a bucket list course. A bucket list course for Cape Golf. It seems like such an unbelievable experience.
Next year, man, get on early.
I know. I got it now. Now I know.
Same 40 spots, and you're fighting against everyone that was playing.
Ooh, I'm screwed.
We got some things in the mix for next year. You guys keep your eyes open.
Oh, I will.
100%.
I will.
we definitely need to get some Duffin up in on it somehow, whether we're playing, whether we're sponsoring a hole, doing something, giving swag. I think that would be awesome because the social media golf community is powerful in general,
Yeah.
but even tighter is we need to help people in our own home state. I mean, we're all in the same area. Why can't we grow that way?
I just had Shaker Hills reach out to me with a really nice picture. They have a new Instagram. Whoever started it 5 years ago lost the password, and somebody new is taking over and reached out. And like in the past day, I've just been blasting them out. Like they're not this new untried thing. They're the number one public golf course in the state of Massachusetts. Like, well, like they should not be floundering. Like get them out, push them out. Like get everybody following, playing golf year round. I mean, December is beautiful to play golf. Like they're open till the snow falls. Like get out and play.
Now I will ask on that side, because this is and we will have this question before we go into our lovely little rapid fire round, which I'm sure you have heard in past episodes.
I have some feelings.
Excellent. I don't know if anyone's ever going to beat Jamie's answer last week, where he just took it upon himself to answer the question.
I already reached out
and he
to
just
him,
went.
so.
It was unreal. But I know that they are real, and I know that there is a reason for them. Frost delays, I have a conspiracy theory against, that they're not real. They're a false flag. They should not be. You need to tell me, as the greens keep up, why we need frost delays. And I know it's probably to protect the grass and everything like that, but I need to hear from the horse's mouth before, because
so first off, can I hear from your mouth why you need a 7:30 tee time in November?
Because I need to be back in this chair. In this chair, I need to be back in this chair at 9 a.m. So
are you being paid to golf?
Because we're golf addicts. We have
Right.
a problem. We have a golf addiction.
We have an addiction.
Then move down south. Move down south.
I tried. They didn't like me.
No,
don't try to get rid of us just yet.
I've seen it 100 different ways. I would prefer if they just canceled people's tee times. Like I'd almost say,
yeah,
I'd almost say
like a course that just cancels the tee time. They don't reschedule. They don't push it back. And I have yet to experience it, but I don't know if they tell you until you get to the course if your tee time has been canceled.
But just think of it from my side. If you push everyone back, we don't get out to work until the frost is gone. It's not that we are working while you guys are waiting. We can't open the restaurant until the frost is gone. So if we've got 100 people stacked up, how do you expect us to provide this product to you that you're expecting? Well, like how? Because all of a sudden there's going to be 45 tee times with 3 minutes between it, because nobody wants to wait, but then all of a sudden there's a frost delay and you're okay with like chipping behind the group in front of you and scoring an 8 on every hole just so you can get through the hole. Like, I think there needs to be more communication between the back and the front, and maybe some record keeping, and that when it gets frost time, and you go and choose a tee time, it says like taking this tee time does not guarantee that you will ever get on this golf course today until the 8:30 tee time or the 9 o'clock tee time. Like come 9 o'clock, the frost is gone every single time, every single day, every single like outside of some real crazy time. Like you need to know what you're signing up for. And we also don't want people taking these 7:30 tee times and then getting pissed at us and say, well, there's no frost at my house. Well, then go chip around at your own house.
Just serve me 2-day old clam chowder and I'll be happy. Jesus Christ. That's all I care. That's
Food and beverage isn't open either.
You absolutely hit a nerve
Nobody's
there, Brent.
open, but we're expected to blow the frost off. Like, it's been a long-standing issue. I think, again, let people know what they're getting into. The chance, if you take this tee time, there's a chance that it's going to get canceled. And it's not going to get canceled until,
So Dan gets out of bed.
yeah. No, if you taken, there have been times where it's been 9 o'clock before we've been able to get out on the golf course, because it's not one area of the golf course. It's like, if there's frost in one area, the whole golf course is shut off. To me, to you, to everybody. So, once we get into these times, like, and it's only that few weeks really where it's not cold enough, but it's not warm enough. And, give us a break, man.
No, I agree. I agree.
This started out as a nice, wholesome podcast, and Brendan really just pissed him off, and now we're all
Sure did.
Beef. We got beef here. I think
No, I get it from your guys' point. Like, if the tee time's open and you take it, you expect it. Like,
frost delays are a false flag. They're
it is.
not
It's
real.
The communication between maintenance and pro shop has never been great anywhere. And that obviously comes from the fact that we're there at 6. The pro shop is there at 7:30. And I mean, there's a lot of things involved there. It's tough. It's our most difficult time of the year.
No, I completely understand that. I just like being able to get out there early, and unfortunately now in November,
you like
October. Sorry,
you like Bermuda grass. You like getting out early. It just doesn't sound like you like living in New England, man. I don't know.
I can't move. It builds character living here.
No true words have been said. Brendan is a snowbird through and through.
Oh, I'm absolutely a snowbird through and through. I love it though. Oh man! All right,
He's gonna be Rush Limbaugh doing half the year podcast from Florida soon.
Imagine that. Oh, half the year
Coming
from South Carolina.
Clearwater, Florida.
Gonna be wearing a winter jacket in 80 degrees.
Yeah.
I will never be that man.
Wouldn't believe what I read in the newspaper today.
I'm too big of a man to be wearing winter jackets in 70-degree weather. That's for sure.
You probably haven't seen my glasses fogging up. I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
So normally, we always do these golfer poll types questions, and I want to do a spin on a regular question that we normally have, mainly because you know this course inside and out, Pocasset. So usually the question is, if you could have any hole in your backyard.
9th hole, Pocasset.
9th hole. I was looking. I've been watching the course tour videos, and that is arguably, from what I would say, a better finishing hole than the 18th with the club coming into the clubhouse. It's beautiful.
I have long said that they should flip. The 10th hole is the worst hole. Yeah, I think the 10th hole wouldn't be a bad starting hole, because then you could just let it go. Having it be the 10th hole, the first hole on the turn with a really hard back 9 coming, you finish with an uphill par 3 and then 2 monster par 5s with postage stamp greens, and then a hidden, long par 4, I think 18. It usually takes me 6 shots, so I, couldn't tell you, but the 9th hole, I think, is the perfect hole at Pocasset. It's a long par 5. It's a great tee shot, forgiving, but at the same time, it's forgiving for a newbie. But if you're playing for a birdie, it is not forgiving. Like, you have to play it right. There's bunkers, but there's not this overwhelming amount of bunkers. It's a narrow approach. It's a dog leg. It's kind of blind. It's got a little bit of everything. And man, if I could have a hole in my backyard, it'd be the 9th hole.
Love that. I was looking at that, and it looks amazing. For those of you listening, it is a from the whites, it's a 461 yard par 5, and then going all the way to the blues, 488 yards, and all the way from the tips is 499, which is gold there. So it's pretty immaculate. And I definitely advise you. They have a YouTube video for every hole, like drone footage of the layout of each and every one of the holes. And I personally love that when a course has that. So you're able to actually picture what you're looking at. And it's gorgeous. I mean, it comes right in. I'm huge on ending. I wish 18 at Picasso was a par 5, but I'm big on a finishing hole being a par 5. So coming in at 9 on a par 5, it gives me, a long hitter, a chance for birdie, probably par, probably bogey.
And I love the green too, because it's like a full half of it is this big sloping hill with kind of a C around it, like the letter C of pin placements that, like, wherever it is, you can play the hill. Like, oh man, I think it's perfect. I think it's a perfect hole. I hope they never change it.
Love that. That's great.
And it fits into my par. It fits into, if they flipped it and it was the 18th, it would fit into my big goal of every hole, every course should end on a par 5 to give you a chance at birdie to end the day. That's a big thing of mine. I absolutely think that every hole, and especially in tournament play, like PGA Tour, I think every ending hole should be a par 5. I don't know why, I just like it. I think it's cool. Anyway.
I also think they should flip real quick. I'm not a big handicap guy, but if you are, I think the second hole you get a stroke, and then the last couple holes you get a stroke. So you've already lost at that point. So I think they just need to flip it. 10 is 1, 1 is 10.
I like it. That's your next crusade, Dan. That's your next crusade.
I'm not going to die in the hill, but I'm certainly going to putt on it.
Love that.
That's a good.
Oh man,
great line. That's great.
So I know you teased it at the beginning, but any holes in one? 0.
0.
So that brings the Duffin Up podcast between the three of us. Actually, if we had our two hosts too, to a whopping 0 hole-in-ones.
Well, I've seen 6 of them, but never. I came close. What a story! But couple inches is as close as I came, and that's as close as I need to until they get rid of that etiquette rule where I have to buy everyone drinks.
And it's always right. I know that's the thing. I always think that needs.
That's what I'm waiting for. Like, get rid of that.
You know why
I'll get a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean, you know why that's the rule, right? Is because back in the day, it was basically you wouldn't if you wouldn't buy the entire bar a drink if you didn't actually make a hole in one. So it was basically like an honor code. Like it was like I'll show you that I made a hole in one. I'll buy everyone a drink.
I have a season pass at at Fresh Pond in Cambridge, a 9-hole course, and I get my hole in one there because they don't have any alcohol on the premise. They don't have a bar or a cart girl. So I got it. I think it's the perfect loophole is only play courses that don't serve alcohol.
Right.
Dude, that'd be even worse. You owe everyone Dunkin' then.
Yeah.
Well, no, Pocassa's the same way. I mean, I can play. I just can't go into the food and beverage area. Like, so, sorry, I got to go to my car. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Drink.
That's a good loophole. That's a good one there too.
I guess you members who I played with have to invite me in and pay for my meal.
You gotta buy a bunch of 30 racks and meet me in the parking lot.
No.
Oh, that's fun. And then, Fry Guy, I don't know if I asked this question. I feel like I always tongue tie myself on this question, so I feel like it's got to stay in the O'Reilly family when you ask. So do we want to ask? Oh no, wait, we have two more. Sorry, we have two more.
You got two more. I'm waiting on
this
more.
one. I'll ask this one. You're on a deserted island. You have any club. You got a whole year to practice before someone comes and picks you up. What club are we taking?
I am hitting that driver as far as humanly goddamn possible, as many times as goddamn possible until someone picks me up. And then when I see them coming, I'm going to pepper them. I'm going to, they might turn around because they're going to be like, maybe he doesn't want to get picked up because he just keeps launching missiles at us. Oh yeah, no, nothing I like more than trying to throw my back out. Just trying to smash. Like I heard Jamie like, oh, you can chip, you can do. No, what? No, not interested. I want to smash drives.
That's amazing.
I love that.
And I was actually thinking about that today. Is you see a lot of the time you'll see or often you'll see like a spark come off the driver if you hit the ball a certain way or hit the tee a certain way. So that's one way you could start a fire too while you're on the island.
Well, so I lived on a river, and I worked at the golf course, and I would pick up all the golf balls I could find, and I came home, and I might have once pulled a different club out of the bag. Me and my friends would literally just sit there and smash driver and see who could hit it further. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I've done it before on a much smaller scale, but yeah, no, that's absolutely driver all day long.
I love that.
I like it.
Cool.
That was very passionate. I like when the answers are passionate for all of these. So that's great.
Yeah, Dan brings nothing but fire, nothing but passion in everything that he does. I've
been told that.
I come to learn. It's a blessing and a curse, I'm sure. But
yeah.
But from a deserted island to a dessert question.
What a segue! What a segue! What a segue!
Never been done before there. This is a question that is not golf related, but it's something that has become a tradition on the podcast. And if you've listened and in any prior podcasts, you know what's coming, and you may have an answer locked and loaded. But so my brother came up with this question. It's pretty stupid, but it's near and dear to our hearts. So would the question is, would a cake be more offended to be called a pie, or would a pie be more offended to be called a cake?
Are we talking homemade?
It's yes,
homemade on both sides. Homemade on both sides.
Homemade on both sides.
It could be store bought.
Whatever it is, it has to be the same. So it's either store bought on both sides or homemade on both sides.
Store bought, I think they're the same. It's 180 grams of sugar per serving, and it's made on an assembly line. I think we can all get by. I was in food service before, like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you
non-homemade, they can all get it equally. Homemade. If I bring you a homemade apple pie and you so as much dare to call it a cake, we're fighting right then and there. We're fighting right then and there. Right then and there. It is on site. These hands ready to eat for everybody. Call my pie cake again.
I love that. It. And it's funny because this, like, as I've been re-listening to the podcast and hearing the answers, I don't think that this topic, because it's been tending to trend towards turning into if you're a pie guy or a cake guy. That's not the question. The question is if the pie would be more offended to be called a cake, but you're absolutely entirely right. And that's I think it just a vibe. It's a total
There's so
vibe
much
thing.
more work involved.
Yeah.
Just imagine if an apple pie got called a funfetti cake. Like, just
You know-
imagine that.
Have you ever seen any of these shows where they make cakes and they go, "Oh, don't worry, we can fix that with the frosting"?
Yeah.
Nobody ever said that. Laying like crisscross patterns with phyllo dough that they hand rolled out, and like, "Oh, don't worry, I can cover up the inside of this pie with my hand cut crust." Like, no. And some people do the forks around the edges, some people do the pinches around the edges. Oh yeah, no, you call my pie a cake and we're fighting.
I love that. I love that. Oh,
That's
we
great.
did.
I would also
mean,
I would like to add cheesecake can get it, and carrot cake is my favorite.
There we go. That is.
Someone has listened.
Oh no! Yeah,
Someone has listened to the podcast.
Boy, does that open up a can of worms. It's just
13
Oh.
years of my life, I asked for a carrot cake for my birthday. All 13. I was 1 year old. First word, carrot cake. Okay? There was yeah.
I think my first word was no, which my mom always likes to tell me.
She
So that's
she
funny.
probably tried to give you something other than a carrot cake.
Probably, even though I'm not. I have. Carrot cake has aged on me like fine wine, I will say, because I like it a lot. When I was younger, I hated it, and so now I've gotten it's become an acquired taste of mine. Cheesecake was also an acquired taste, but that taste will never go away now. That is
Now I'll eat a cheesecake out of a gas station. Okay,
yeah.
Carrot cake, homemade.
and I'll eat
Please and thank you. Again, if you go to Stop and Shop, you buy one of those like 6-inch rounds, we're fighting. Hands up, we're fighting. Like, just don't even offer it to me. You obviously didn't care about dessert, which I do care about. Like, you could have done pound cake with strawberries. You could have done just some sort of like biscuit with some strawberries and Cool Whip. Please, dessert, I'm all for it. Don't insult me with a Stop and Shop 6-inch round.
And honestly, that might hold up in court. Your Honor, it was a store-bought cake. I think of it. Oh, that's valid. That's why I beat the crap out of this guy. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Everything dropped.
Yeah.
Who knew it would all fit?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so funny. But we've had the Trill Golf guys, they brought up cobbler as well. And it's just like, we had to very specifically break out like what is disqualified from the debate where it can just be pie and cake, because like it was cheese. Someone brought up cheese. I forget who brought up cheesecake, but cheesecake was brought up, and we were like, we can't have this because that is literally just pie and cake combined into one
This
thing.
is chaos. We can't have chaos.
And everyone loved cheesecake. Like literally, I don't even know if I've ever heard of someone say cheesecake is all right. Like, I think every single person I've ever talked to in my entire life is like, yes, cheesecake is the best.
Like I said, you go into a mobile gas station and come out with a piece of cheesecake from me, I'm eating it.
Yeah.
You bring me out sushi, we're fighting. Eat for everybody, we're fighting.
And that piece of cheesecake, from the mobile gas station will taste the exact same as if it comes from a New York freaking bakery. And it will just be like, yes, this is just amazing. Like, this is just amazing.
It's God's gift
to
creation.
I meant to bring the sticker with me, but my wife and I spent a week up in Vermont, and we drove 1,000 miles. We just drove all around the state. And I drive by this place, and the sign just said pies. So I come to a screeching halt. I turn around, and like, home baked from scratch. We bought, just in case anyone's wondering, we bought the key lime pie. It was amazing. But I also bought a sticker, and it said, pie fixes everything.
That is the most wholesome, warm feeling I've ever gotten from you just saying Vermont pie shop. And I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm being hugged right now.
Yeah,
from all the places we passed, I was like, nope. turn around. Let's
Yeah,
go. Nice job.
exactly. There's an accident causing an accident behind you, but you got to get
Yeah.
Pi fixes everything. Pi can fix that.
My wife's got a concussion from smacking her head off the window, and I'm like, don't worry. Pi fixes everything.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Just eat this. Take a bite of this. You're good.
Oh, if that's not the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont, if that is not a story from there, then I do not know. I do not want to know where in Vermont you got that from, because that sounds like the most Northeast Kingdom Vermont thing of all time.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely north of Burlington.
Yeah, that's the Northeast Kingdom. That's the kingdom up there. Yeah.
I mean, you're not advertising. You're not going to have big signs out for pies if your pie is not unbelievable. So
right,
that's no brainer.
Oh yeah, no, that was Pie guy.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a big sign that says gas station sushi this way. I don't think I'm pulling in for that. But
right, it says like 4-set sandwiches or like Cape Cod potato chips. It never says like rolled sushi from somewhere. Like
right, exactly. Yeah,
99 cents.
Yeah, 99-cent California roll. Like
right.
Nah,
yeah, week old California roll.
Yeah, the packaging should cost more than 99 cents. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, there's a fine line between a discount and just ruining the rest of your week for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Pi fixes everything. That's what your the caption of this podcast should be. The title of this podcast: Pi fixes everything.
Pi fixes everything.
I like it.
and makes exactly. That's fantastic. But Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I could pick your brain for hours, but I know we all gotta go to bed or just see the missus at some point. Yeah, right. We'll have to have you back on.
I obviously have no shortage of opinions, so.
Oh no, and I know Tim. I know when Tim gets back too. When he'll be back on the next one with you. He will pick your brain just about not just grass, but golf course architecture too, and how you do it, and how you mow it, and how it looks so good. Oh, it's gonna be wonderful.
Ooh, love it.
Oh man. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Anything you want to shout out real quick before we end?
Oh, geez. Everyone and everything. I mean, Cape Cod golf guys, obviously, they're going to be coming on. You guys need to check out South Boston Golf Club. They've done a ton for me. Jeff and Rory brothers, Jamie, Legend Golf Co. I mean, talk to them, oh man, again, a million people I'm not thinking of right now. But yeah, my wife too. She's and me from the corner, but now she's hiding. Yeah, I picked the phone up. All of a sudden, she's running to hide.
Oh man,
she heard, "Who do you want to thank?" And I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. Yeah,
that goes without saying.
Thanks for that comment too, but I got it out there. So you guys know if I wind up dead tomorrow.
I was gonna say it was nice talking to you in your last hour on this planet.
We appreciate you spending it with us, kind sir. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys. Great talking to you.
Great talking to you, Dad. Thank you.
You're welcome.